time check is 10 in the morning, WCBC. I was just looking at my notes, and this is Small Business Week. Small Business Week is May 5 through 11. And I've got somebody to talk to about this, because if you're a small business owner, you probably don't even have a plan. You probably are so busy trying to keep the place afloat that you might not even have a budget. Richard, does that happen to small business people?
You know what, Dave, and good morning. It happens all the time. You know, the livelihood of and the lifeblood of the United States are all of these small businesses. But the way that we look at it here at Cetera Financial Group is you have to maintain laser sharp focus and have a plan in place and really manage your business empirically to the bottom line, because that's how we see the most sustainable growth happening in the marketplace.
Now, Richard is Richard Whitworth. He is with the folks with Business Consulting. He's the managing director for the Cetera Financial Group. When I knew you were going to be on the air with me this morning, I came across a piece of info that caught my attention. It says, small business owners risk not converting recent optimism into action, which is what's required for growth. We certainly have the best economy since the 60s. Am I missing the boat?
No, I don't think so, Dave. I think that you're hitting the nail on the head there again. You know, when we work with small businesses, and specifically at Cetera Financial Group with independent financial advisors, what we always tell people is make sure that you can both plan for growth, but defend against a lack of growth. We know we're at the tail end of a bull market right now. We've been going on for 10 years. We believe that there's still a lot of economic firepower that can happen within the United States and within the U.S. economy. But we do believe that as business owners, you need to start thinking about how am I going to deal with a 10 or a 15% correction in the market, and how sustainable are my revenues, and how well can I manage my expenses as we get through that dip whenever it may occur.
43 years ago, I bought this radio station, and I sometimes think I've seen everything. Then I'm not so sure, because you just made the remark, we're at the tail end of the bull market. If you had told me 10 years ago that the bull market would be 10 years long, Richard, I don't think I would have bought that.
No, you're exactly right. And I don't think anybody, I mean, we've just been experiencing such great economic expansion. And, you know, I think for a lot of small businesses, they've been buoyed by that economic expansion. When you look at actual organic growth, how are business owners bringing new clients into their firms? How well are they servicing them? And how well are they growing them? You know, we've benefited from this market expansion. I think going forward, it's going to be critical for all small business owners to start to think about what are those 3 to 5 financial metrics that I can manage to, be it revenue per professional, revenue per client, number of clients per support staff person, anything that a business owner can do to start to keep their eye on the prize a little bit more and understand what are the variables that both drive growth or detract from growth is what's going to be key to success going forward, regardless of the market cycle.
I mentioned this was Small Business Week. As a small business owner, do I really care about this? Is it really that big a deal?
You know, Dave, I really think it is. I think all business owners, regardless medium, small, or large, you know, have to keep their eye on what their financials look like, as well as what their operating margins look like. I mean, you don't have to be a Fortune 500 publicly traded company to know that there are certain aspects of running a business which you have to make sure and you have to maintain all the time. You know, when you think about things like repetitive processes, thinking about what am I going to do day in and day out to make sure that I service my clients? When we think about having a high-performing team of valued employees who are contributing both to the client service as well as to the profitability of the firm, all of these are aspects of running a business, be it large, medium, or small, that a business owner can and should march towards.
A family business, there are some obviously do's and don'ts. What are the most frequent mistakes, do you think, that small business makes because they're small business?
You know, it's a really interesting question there, Dave, and I think it kind of harkens back to this concept of formality to me. especially when it's a family-run and a family-owned business, you're blurring the lines between personal and professional. And the best way to go about making sure that you stay on the side of the professional is, I think, having some formal structures in place. If it's something as simple as, I run a family-owned business, make sure there's employment agreements and employment contracts in place for all employees, be they family members or not. Being transparent in terms of what the goals of the organization are and what the challenges the organization faces. All of those are really critical, regardless of if you're working with your spouse, your brother, your parent, or your child. Those are just good business practices that all businesses should have in place.
Richard Whitworth, who's with the Cetera Financial Group. Let me give you a typical small business. I've been in business, let's say 10 years, and I'm 35 years old, and it's pretty successful. But if I died, then what? Or if I sold and the business is so dependent on me or my persona that my business might not be worth half as much as I'd like it to be, if I'm out of it, what do I do?
Dave, we consider that to be the concept of continuity and succession planning here at Cetera Financial Group. And it's really one of the things that we work on the most with our independent financial advisor owner clients. I break up continuity and succession into three specific areas. The first thing is business continuity. What happens if there's a disruptive event that prohibits you as the business owner and operator from maintaining your organization? And that could be something as simple as the power grid goes off to a natural disaster. You have to have that business continuity plan in place. The second piece of it is owner continuity. What happens, as you just so well said, if you step out as the business owner for a period of time, be that through disability, illness, or just you want to take that 3-week vacation to Europe? You have to make sure that there's processes and procedures in place so that you can step out as the revenue generating principal and still maintain the organization. And then the last part of it is the succession, the orderly exit from the business. The goal of any small business owner should be to drive equity or enterprise value, and then the goal of which is to extract that equity value when you monetize and sell the business. So having that end goal and that exit plan in mind is what really needs to happen if you're a business owner at 30, 40, 50, or 60 years old. Know what the value is, know what the value of your business is and what the drivers of it is, or drivers of it are, so that way you can maximize it prior to the sale of the organization.
You read my mind, because that was my next question if I have more time to do this, and that was, how do I determine what the hell it's worth, my business? And I guess in the old days, it used to be a multiple of cash flow or a multiple of gross sales. What is it now?
So it's a great comment you make there, Dave. So I think historically it has been a revenue multiplier on gross sales, but that's only one part of the equation. You have to think about what's the net contribution or the net profitability of my organization. And so that includes having a really keen eye into the expense structure. Ultimately, all business owners, as it flows through from gross revenue down to net profits, has an opportunity to either take that profit as a distribution or to reinvest it in the business as retained earnings. Regardless of what the business owner does, you have to think about it from a bottom line profitability standpoint. There's different methodologies that you can use. It could be discounted cash flow. It could be an EBOC, an earnings before owner's compensation calculation. It could be an EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization type of calculation. But regardless, it's a bottom line level, because once you take into account the expense structure and any of the embedded costs, that's the way that you're going to get to the true value of the organization and be able to get what that valuation multiplier is.
Now, the good news is that if you need help with any of the things that we've talked about or things that I did not even have time to get to, there's a web address. What is it?
Sure. You can reach out to us at www.cetera.com. And either from my standpoint or any of our financial advisor standpoints, we're here at the ready to help you achieve your financial and your life goals and well-being.
He's Richard Whitworth, the Managing Director for Business Consulting at Cetera Financial Group. Thanks, Richard. Come back.
Thanks, Dave. Have a great day.